Jessica saying you to the audience, but in a really beautiful way. It's like,
hello, these are Eric Perez.
Laura Garcia.
And Milena Correa.
On this video, we're going to tell you the summary of the story The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain.
You will see the contrast between the poor and the rich lives and the problems that both parts may face. So, let's start.
The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. This story begins in London with the birth of two boys, Edward Tudor, the son of King Henry VIII, whose birth is celebrated by all England, and Tom Canty, son of a very poor family and an unwanted child. When Tom grows up, he learns to read and write with the help of Father Andrew, and he begs for food to help to his family. One day, Tom was wandering around the royal palace when a guard pulls him away, what attracts the attention of the prince, who invites Tom to pass, feeds him, and while they talk about the life of each other, he suggests exchanging clothes. The prince sees a brush on Tom's hand, and furious, he runs out to confront the guard by his cruelty. The guard, thinking that he is a beggar, extradite him outside the palace, where a crowd of people laugh about it. Edward goes at Christ Church, a hospital for poor boys, thinking that the people there will return him to the palace, but the poor boys treat him bad when he says that he is the Prince of Wales. Meanwhile, Tom, worried for the prince, tells to Lady Jane that he is not the prince, that he is a poor guy from Oxford. The rumor spreads quickly into the palace, and everybody believes that the prince is mad. The king announces that his son's madness is only temporary. At the same time, he orders the death of Duke of Norfolk, for what he needs the Great Seal of England, and Edward is the only person who knows where it is. The servants are amazed how different the prince is acting because he has coarse manners, but everybody believes that is part of his illness. John Canty, thinking that Edward is Tom, tries to drag him at home. When they finally arrive home, the prince finally meets the family of Tom, saying then that he is the Prince of Wales. Tom's mother thinks that he is crazy and he is sent to sleep. While he is sleeping, the woman observes Tom to see if he covered his eyes with his hand. They are informed that Father Andrew is dead and they have to escape. When they are escaping, Edward runs away from John Canty and he goes to the gates of Guildhall to try to explain that he is the real prince. But again the crowd mocks him. But this time a man called Miles Hendon helps him and takes him away of the danger. At this moment, a messenger proclaims that the king is dead. Tom is confused, but at the same time, he realizes that he is now the king and takes the first decision, that is, that the duke must live.
As Miles Hendon and Edward move quickly through the streets, the prince feels the loss of his father. Tears come to his eyes, especially when the crowd yells, "Long live King Edward VI." Even though he is treated as a mere pauper, Hendon and Edward are stopped by John Canty, but Hendon intercedes. Later, in Hendon's apartment, Edward and Hendon share stories. The prince suddenly feels extremely sleepy. Hendon sets out to buy better clothing for the boy, but when he returns, he discovers that the boy is gone. Tom Canty awakens in his royal bed, calling for his sister to tell her his strange dream. Realizing that he's Edward, the King of England, Tom gets upset and goes back to sleep. Then he finds out that the expenses of the royal household for the past 6 months have not been paid. He bursts out and begins to outline means of economizing. Finally, Tom falls asleep, letting the business of the kingdom for a moment. After spending an enjoyable moment with his older sister Bloody Mary, Tom meets Humphrey Marlowe, the royal whipping boy, who is regaining the prince's memory. One day, Tom becomes interested in a hooting and shouting mob approaching. A man, a woman, and a girl who are about to be executed for their crimes. Tom orders them to be brought before him to find out more about them and their crimes. Tom challenges her to conjure up a storm for him, but she cannot. Tom accepts their stories and gives them a full pardon. Tom is beginning to adjust to his new role, and he is doing so very admirably. Later on, the prince experiences the life of the lowest stratum of English society as he tries to free himself from John Canty. The prince hears many tales of cruelty, of English laws and many types of injustices throughout the land. He refuses to steal, he refuses to beg, he sleeps with a cow, he refuses to do any work of any kind, he refuses to die at the hands of a hermit. He takes every possible opportunity to try and escape.
Now let me play you some beautiful music, so there's this feeling like,
Hendon asks the prince to wait for him outside the town. They travel several days and nights. When they approach to Hendon Hall, Hendon is ecstatic because he knows he will see his father once again. Hendon asks for his father and brother Arthur, but they are dead since long time ago. Just Lady Edith is alive with other 5 old servants. Lady Edith says that she doesn't know him, so the servants call to the authorities to arrest Miles, considered as an impostor. Lady Edith asks them to flee as quickly as possible, but it is late. Miles and the prince are arrested and taken into prison. Lake Andrews, an old friend of Hendon, arrives to recognize him, but Andrews denies him. After Hendon's punishment, he is ordered to leave the land, and the prince decides to go to London. They arrive on the eve of coronation day. At midnight, Tom Canty goes to sleep to his splendid bed, watched by a loyal vassal. Meanwhile, Edward is hungry and thirsty. Finally, from a hiding place, a boy appears, and this boy says, "I am the king." Quickly, the Lord Protector wants to save the prince's security in order to arrest the boy, but Tom denies the order. Tom Canty approaches to Edward, and the other notice the amazing similarities between the two boys. The Lord Protector asks Edward for the Great Seal of England. Tom asks Edward to recall the first day they met and to remember all the details about that day. Edward, before noticing Tom's injured hand, he looked for a place to put the Great Seal, so he remembers all. He instructs the Lord St. John to go to Milanese Harbor. He will find the Great Seal. When he returns back, everybody looks at Edward as the true king. Edward returns to Tom and asks him how he knew where the Great Seal was, and Tom explained that he was been using it all this time as a nutcracker. Miles, without knowing what is happening, he is looking for his friend Edward, but he doesn't have success. He is tired, and when he approaches to the palace, he is arrested as a suspicious-looking character. When he is carried to the middle of the palace, he cannot believe what he is looking. The young boy, Edward, is the king. We hope you have enjoyed this story and understood the difference between the two lifestyles at that time. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.